Have you ever noticed how a specific outfit can make you feel a certain way? Like maybe it's a really dreary day and you put on a bright color and you feel that your mood completely lifts just because you're wearing something brighter. Or maybe you've been in sweats the entire weekend and come Monday morning, you put on your best outfit for work and it feels crisp, it feels clean, it's tailored to you, and you just feel almost like a new person. Now, the opposite is also true in the sense of how we are perceived by people. You and I, we might see somebody in scrubs and we might assume that they're in the medical field. They might be a doctor or a nurse. Or if we see somebody in uniform like a police officer, we immediately might attribute a little bit more respect to them, right? Because what they're wearing is portraying something about their profession and about their identity. Well, today we're going to be talking about the qualities that we wear almost as clothing and the type of managers and multifamily professionals that they make us, and how by putting on some of these new qualities, we can almost either reinforce a quality that we want, or we can completely overturn a quality that maybe we're trying to work on. So let's hang out. This is a little bit more of a personal development type of an episode, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun to talk through this and to see how there's simple things that can elevate our actual style when it comes to the person that we're showing up as every single day. The reason I picked this topic is because every time I open up my closet, I ask myself, who do I feel like being today? And what I mean by that is sometimes an outfit is maybe a little bit dressier, and I'm like, do I feel like being that person? Or maybe I want to wear really comfortable shoes because I'm going to be running errands, I'm going to be in and out of places. But I also know that the color, the fit, the style, everything is going to be a reflection of my mood, how I show up, even the way I walk. I know it sounds silly, but we all do it. In fact, pay attention to what you're wearing right now and see how it affects your demeanor. I know when I'm in my sweats running into Target, I sure walk a little bit different than I do when I'm fully dressed up walking in where I feel like super confident in my outfit. And that might be silly to you, but here's what I was thinking. Imagine if every single day when we started the day or the week, we open up our closet of qualities and we say, who do I want to show up as today? And it might be that there's a quality that we feel we've gotten away from, or maybe we're operating in our communities and we just don't like who we're showing up as. Maybe we've gotten very short-tempered. Maybe we're quick to respond and we don't like that. We want to show more patience. Maybe we feel we're not as kind as we used to be, a little bit jaded or maybe a little cynical, and we want to show a little bit more kindness or personal interest. All of those qualities, they're beautiful qualities, and I'm sure many of us display them at different capacities. We all have our strengths. But imagine that you got into this closet and every single one of the outfits there was labeled. There was one labeled kindness, one labeled patience, one labeled joy, and there's all these different ones. And you make a conscious decision to pick out the specific qualities of clothing that you're going to wear. And just like any outfit, there's different components to it, right? You might want to be clothed in joy. You might want to be, clothed in patience. There might be certain things that you're really trying to reinforce about the person that you are, or a quality you're trying to lock in that maybe you've gotten away from, or that's never been a part of your personality. Now, I bring this up because so many of us have been in property management for many years, and we're just operating out of old habits and old patterns, but we feel like something isn't exactly right. And sometimes it's as simple as changing our outfit of what we're wearing, what we're presenting to the world. So I thought this would be an interesting conversation. One of the things that I love to do is when I'm around people that I admire or that I enjoy their company, I like to observe what are the things about them that make them so enjoyable. So in a professional setting, I might be observing someone that maybe has to correct their team member, but they do it in such a kind way. It's direct communication, but it doesn't cause the other person to lose their dignity. And I might say, I want to pick that up. I want to put that on and try that out one day. Or you might see somebody else and you love how ambitious they are. They've got a goal and they're going after it and they have a plan of attack. Or there might be a friend that's just so easy to talk to that when you're having a conversation with them, it's like you're the only person in the room. And you think, man, what a great listener. I'd love to imitate that quality. So that's a great place to start, is looking around and observing people that we enjoy spending time with and thinking, what makes them so enjoyable? Or it could be total strangers. You could walk into a store, you could walk into a place of business and immediately just feel a connection with someone or just feel like they put you at ease. Well, specifically, what was it about them that did that? When you can identify that, then you can make a conscious effort to put those qualities in place. Now, you might look at last year and you might think, oh, I got into some patterns that I didn't love. And it just feels like I'm just going through the motions. And it's real easy for, a behavior to start that we do it one day and then in 1 week and then a month. And then before we know it, it's become a part of our personality. And we don't even like that part of our personality, right? We don't like how we're showing up. This is what's so cool. Just like you don't wear the exact same outfit every day, you have the option to go into your closet and to pick something new, something that feels more like you. This happened to me in a very literal way recently. I went to a speaking event and I usually bring 2 or 3 outfits so I can decide what I want to wear the day of what I'm feeling. And I had one dress that I have worn many times and felt very good, very confident in. And I put it on that morning and I thought, you know what? This dress actually just doesn't feel like who I am today and like who I actually am in this, new chapter of my life. And what it did is it prompted me to come home and I spent the weekend cleaning out my closet and I went through and I said, what are the things that when I put them on, I feel really good in those pieces? And what are the things that just no longer feel like who I am? It's okay, right? We outgrow clothing, we outgrow styles and trends. And there's some things that we just always gravitate to. Well, I think that we can do the same thing for the qualities that we're putting on as property managers and on-site professionals. We get to choose. Now, what could be really fun is a couple of different exercises. So I'm going to suggest this for the time being. And I actually got this idea because I was talking to someone that was telling me that she was a nutritionist for a gym. And one day she wore her sweatshirt that said nutritionist because when she was at the gym, that's how she was identified by the customers. And she forgot the shirt that she would normally change into after. So she says, all day long, I wore that shirt, nutritionist. She said, would you believe that it changed the way that I showed up that day? She goes, I almost went to get cookies after my lunch. And she's like, but I was wearing that nutritionist sweater. And I was like, oh, I don't want to mess with my identity. So the way that we dress can really, change the perception and change how we carry ourselves. So I think what could be really cool is we could try on different qualities for size. So you could take one day and you could say, today I'm going to work on the quality of patience. In every scenario, I'm going to take a pause and I'm going to just take a couple of breaths before I respond. And in things that normally would trigger me, I'm going to really try to respond as a very patient person. You could even think about the most patient person that you know and say, today I am going to show up. For me, it'd be like Lauren. Lauren's so patient. Be like, I am going to show up as Lauren and respond as Lauren. And another day, you could say, you know what? I want to show up as go-getter me. And today I'm going to look for every opportunity and I'm going to look at how I can maybe make things a little bit better, go the extra mile. And today I'm going to embody the go-getter. So it can be a quality or it can be a persona. What's nice about that is you can try those qualities on and you can slowly make a meld to the ones that you want to stick, the ones that are going to become part of, let's say, your capsule wardrobe, and then the ones that you want to make sure that you have access to when you need them, right? So they might not be a dominant part of your personality, but when you need to call on them, you've got them ready. And I think that's pretty cool. So that could be a really simple way that you try it out. So let me ask you, what quality have you been wanting to embody more yourself? What is something that has been maybe on your mind or on your heart that you deep down know, oh, I could really work on being this, or I really like and I feel really good when I show up like this. So, like for me, I like showing up lighthearted. And when I get into stressful situations, sometimes I can get really intense. That's just part of my personality of the past. But I actually don't like that part of my personality. I like being able to jump in and be a problem solver, but I don't like doing it at an intensity that makes me stressed out and makes those around me stressed out. So over the last few years, that's something I've actually really worked on, just to show up with a lightness. So sometimes I'll walk into certain scenarios that I know past Barbara would be triggered by, and I say, oh, how can I show up with the lightness? I'll give you another little exercise that works really well for me. When I'm going into a scenario or I'm going into something that I know is going to be stressful. Maybe for you, it's a resident event, or it could be something personal. Like I did this recently when we were going on I think it was a 10-day trip to New York with 16 people. So it was a really fun trip, but there was people of all ages. Everybody has different opinions. And I knew that there was going to be some really stressful situations. So before I left on that trip, I actually made a list of how I wanted to show up, what qualities I wanted, and the feelings I wanted to experience throughout that time. So for me, it was I wanted to really be patient with my mom and connect with her and have fun. I wanted to laugh a lot with the kids. So I wanted to remember to be playful and have fun with my nieces and nephews. And I wanted to form meaningful connections with my sister and Lauren, who were also going on the trip. So I actually wrote those down in my notes app. And as I was going throughout the trip, I was reminding myself of, hey, what qualities do I need to put on? And when is it time to be playful? And it sounds kind of silly to do that because a lot of times it just happens in the moment. But I intentionally wanted to leave that trip feeling a certain way. And it was really great because we had a 10-day trip and we had so much fun and very little hiccups for the amount of people and all the places we went to. But I think part of it was because I really went into it with some intentions of how I wanted to show up. So you could do that. How do I want to show up this Monday morning for my team? Or we've got this, big thing that we're working on. What are the qualities I'm going to need to display? And then just like you would do after any big project, you can do a debrief with yourself. So for example, after the New York trip, there was one instant that really frazzled me and kind of got me a little unsettled. And it happened and I let it kind of get me in a bad mood for about an hour. But I caught myself because I remembered how I wanted to show up. But afterwards, I spent a few minutes reflecting on like, why did that situation, why was that so stressful for me? And why did I get kind of triggered? And I was able to isolate exactly why that situation frazzled me. And it gave me a little bit of insight into myself and into how I could show up better next time. So we're all kind of works in progress, all of us, right? We're always trying to better ourselves. But when you think about it like layers of an outfit, and you're literally thinking about what complements this, what goes good together. It goes good to be patient, but maybe it also goes good to be very direct when you give feedback. It's good to be kind, but it's also good to be very candid, right? And I'm just throwing some out there. And it might be very good to be goal oriented, but maybe to do it while having fun. So being joyful at the same time. So one quality doesn't have to stand isolated. You can either focus on one or a combination, and you can see which one looks best on you. They have these things online where it's like the color theory, colors that really bring out the best features for you. And every one of us is different. And I think about that. And while we can't all have every single quality, there are things that we're known for. So like Lauren, I mentioned earlier, she's very patient, but Lauren laughs so easy. And that is just such a fun quality about her. When I think of Lauren, I think of someone that can laugh easy. And I have other friends like my friend Marissa. She is able to make everyone feel special. We can be in a group of strangers, and by the end, she's friends with all of them. And so I like watching those things and thinking, like, those are the things that come to mind. That's basically the colors or the qualities that pop up when I think of my friends. So ask yourself, what do you want to be thought of when your friends, your team, your residents think of you? And just remember, you have one bad day, you put on one outfit, and later maybe you see yourself in the mirror and you're like, what was I thinking? That happens to me sometimes where I'm like, this looked really good in my mind. And then by the end of the day, it's like the cut didn't look good or the color, or I feel disheveled. And I just think to myself, okay, we tried that and that wasn't my best look, right? Well, it's the same thing with qualities. You might put on a persona and that just might not feel authentic or real to you. We're helping ourselves just become a little bit better, a little bit more focused on the qualities that make us us, but that also enhance our other qualities. And they're great for, your career. It's great when people can think of a certain person and they think, oh, that's what when I think of so-and-so, I think of a go-getter, but man, her team loves her because she's got such a fun way of operating that makes people feel like they're part of a team. So that can become your work signature. And you can carry that when you come home as well. And that might be a little different kind of an outfit that you're wearing at home, right? So I hope this has been helpful.
Hey guys, this is Ashley, the Content and Growth Marketing Coordinator here at Sprout. I just wanted to let you guys know that inside the Spark strategy for this month are some little love notes to yourself. And this is actually a great way to remind yourself of the good qualities that you have that you want to continue to show up with. So if you haven't already, log into your account, go grab those love notes, give yourself a pat on the back, and remember how great you are. So if you're not part of a Sprout membership already and you want to be, the Spark membership is the place to start. It's only $7 a month, which means if you skip a latte for a day, You've basically already paid for it, and it gives you an entire strategy every single month that reaches all of your marketing and retention touch points. Plus, there's a section every month that's just for you, and it's resources that are made for personal growth that help you get your spark back and help you remember that your work matters and so do you.
So if that's something you're interested, you want to check out sparkwithsprout.com. And as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What is one outfit quality that you're going to be putting on in the next week? Let us know in the comments and I'll send you a little something special just for being a listener of the Multifamily Mix. Okay, guys, see you next time. Bye. All right, guys, that's a wrap on today's Multifamily Mix. Keep shaking things up at your community, your career, and most importantly, your life. Until we mix and mingle again, see you next week, friend.